Let us understand how to perform grouped or by-key aggregations using pandas. Here are the steps you need to follow if you want to perform grouped or by-key aggregations. First, we need to make sure data is read into data frame. Then you have to identify the key on which data should be aggregated. If the key doesn't exist, make sure you update the data frame with the derived field. Because as part of the group by, we can only specify data frame columns, but not the logic on which the data has to be grouped. Using the key, group the values using group by function on data frame. It will create something called as grouped data frame. Then we can leverage that grouped data frame and we should be able to apply required aggregate functions to get aggregated results based upon the key. We can apply multiple aggregate functions at a time after creating grouped data frame. We will see that in a moment. Also, pandas data frame exposes a function called as rename, which can be leveraged to provide aliases to the aggregated fields. We will see the usage of rename also in a moment. First, let us run this Python notebook, which will expose two data frames, orders as well as odd items, which we will be leveraging to perform several tasks to understand group aggregations. And also it imports pandas as PD. If at all we want to invoke any functions that are available as part of pandas library, we'll be using PD instead of pandas. The pandas is imported as PD as part of this notebook. As we ran this notebook, we can leverage that PD if you want to as part of the tasks. Let's perform the first task to understand the syntax and semantics of group by and also how to perform aggregations after taking care of group by on a particular key. Getting number of orders per day. Already we have the orders data frame. We can validate by saying orders here. Now, based upon this requirement, day is the key and day can be computed from the date. So to get the number of orders per day, we have to use this as key and we have to get the count. Let's understand what happens when you use group by and pass the date to it. It will actually create a special type of object called as data frame group by object. If you wanted to review the data, it's better to convert it to list. And here I just wanted to access first three elements from this list. That's why I'm specifying column 3 like this. If I run this, you should be able to see the first three records from this list. This list contains elements of type tuple. So this is the first element from here to here. It is of type tuple. The key is the date and the value is nothing but series which contain only those order IDs which belong to that date. Same is the case with 2013 July 26. This is the first element in the tuple, in this second element in the list, which is output of this list function on top of orders.groupby. The first element is 2013 July 26 in this tuple, and the second element is nothing but series which contain all those order IDs related to this date. Same is the case with the third one. So here we have converted a data frame into group by data frame, which will internally have data like this. First attribute in this data frame is nothing but the date, and the second attribute is nothing but series or array, which contain all the order IDs related to that date. If you do not have order ID here, it will actually contain all the fields from the data frame. Now, if I remove this and if I run this, you can see that the first element in this tuple is still date, but the second element is a data frame. And it contains 4 columns and 143 rows for this date. This is how the data is represented internally. Just to understand it, I just validated by converting to list and then by accessing the first 3 elements. As part of our data processing, we should not be doing this. This is primarily to understand the underlying implementation aspects of these group by operations. Now, as you got the group by data frame or data frame group by, using that, you should be able to specify the field on which you want to perform the aggregation. In this case, we are trying to get the count. We can use any field, but order is the most appropriate field. It will actually give us the count of orders that are placed for each date. You can see here. So the count will be applied on these values within the series based on each key, and we can see the count for each date like this. Now let's perform another task, which is nothing but to get number of orders per status. We can just say orders, which is nothing but our data frame dot group by order status, and then in square brackets either you can specify order ID or order status. It's up to you. Now I should be able to run this and we should be able to get the count by status from our orders. Now let's use order items and try to get revenue per order. So in this case, if you wanted to first preview the data after grouping by order item order ID, this is how it will look like. Before getting into that, let's preview order items data frame. Here you can see the output. So as the problem statement says, compute revenue per order, order ID will be the key, and we have to aggregate the corresponding item subtotals for each and every order ID. In this case, if it is 2, for 2, we have to add these 3 values and get the revenue for such order IDs. Now, if you use group by and try to list first 5 elements, you can see that it contains the order ID as first element in these tuples, and the second element is nothing but series which contain order item subtotals. Using this, we should be able to compute revenue for each order. We just have to say sum on top of this data frame group by, and you should be able to see the revenue for each order ID. Now, you can also perform multiple aggregate operations on top of data frame that is grouped by. So in this case, if you just want to get min, max as well as count along with sum, you can pass all those functions as a list like this. It will take care of generating the data frame with all these aggregated results. Let me copy paste this and let me run this. You should be able to see the result. You can see order item already as the index and then the aggregated results with respect to sum, min, max and count here. This is how you should be able to get the aggregated results using multiple aggregate functions. Now, when it comes to names, these names are inherited from the functions such as sum, min, max, count, etc. If you wanted to provide custom names for these columns of this output data frame, then you have to use something called as rename. As part of rename, there is a keyword argument called as columns. As part of the columns keyword argument, you have to pass the dict. You have to pass the actual attribute name that is used after invoking aggregate function and what is the alias for that. So in this case, count has to be item count and sum has to be revenue. Both are passed as dict to columns, and if you look at the output of this, you can see that the sum is changed to revenue and the count is changed to item underscore count. This is how you can actually provide aliases for the aggregate fields or the fields which are resulted due to the aggregate functions. You can also change the name of one column using the dict like this. In this case, I just wanted to change the order item order ID column name to order ID for no reason. It's just want to demonstrate. You should be able to run this, and the actual field in order items is order item order ID. We have changed it to order ID now. So this is how you should be able to leverage rename to provide aliases to the existing columns in a data frame. Now let's perform a couple of tasks to understand and get more practice about these grouped aggregations or by key aggregations. In this case, we want to get order item count as well as order revenue for each order ID. Our order items dataset is like this. Using the order item subtotal and order item quantity, I want to get the count as well as revenue. Sorry, we are not going to use the order item quantity. We are just adding individual records to get the count. This is how it will look like. Order items group by, order item order ID, order item subtotal, ag of sum comma count, rename sum to order revenue and count to order item count, and you should be able to see the result. However, if you don't use this reset index, let me delete this and let me run this. You can see that the output contain order item order ID as the index and then order revenue and order item count as attributes. Now I want to convert this to a regular field in a data frame. For that, we can use this reset index function, which is available on top of data frame. It will actually get our default index and order item order ID will become a field in the data frame. So in some cases, we wanted to do this. This is how you can actually leverage reset index and convert the index field into regular column within the data frame. Now let's perform another task. In this case, we are trying to get order count by month using orders data for specific order status. If you look at our orders data doesn't have month directly. It have ID, date, customer ID, status. I have already ran this. That's why you are seeing month. Otherwise, orders data doesn't have month. To go back to its original state, what I can do, I can rerun this Python notebook. Now scroll down here, and then I should be able to preview the data from orders. It should contain only 4 fields: ID, date, customer ID, and status. As there is no month here, we will not be able to directly use the date to group by and get the count by month. So we have to get a derived field by name order month, and this is how you can actually get the derived field. So I can say orders of order month equal to orders.orderdate.str.slice0,7, which will give us first 7 characters from each order date. You can actually run this here and you should be able to see the output. We got the months in the form of YYY-mm, and we are now assigning the month to order month field within the orders data frame. Orders have these 4 fields earlier. Once I run this, it will be updated with additional field by name order month. It will contain the month part of the date. You can actually see the result here. Now using this month as part of the group by, we should be able to get the count for each month for the given status. So this is how the complete solution will look like. First, you have to filter for complete orders because those are the ones which you are interested in. If you want to get the metrics using closed orders, you have to pass closed here. In this case, we are interested in compute. Whatever you want to pass, you can pass. Once you filter like this, then you can perform group by to group the data by specific field. In this case, the field is nothing but order month because we are trying to get count by month. You can use order ID or any such field here to invoke count, and then you can actually say count like this. It will give us the data related to count by month. You can see here, and these are only complete orders. Other orders are excluded. Now, if you want to sort this data, you can actually use sort underscore index function like this. It will take care of sorting the data by the index. In this case, the index is nothing but month. So the data will be sorted by index here. If you want to sort the data by the values in this series, there is also a function called as sort underscore values. You can leverage that and you should be able to sort the data by values. So depending upon how you want to sort the data, you can use appropriate function on top of data frame and you should be able to sort the data as per your requirements. So this is how you should be able to perform grouped or by key aggregations. Make sure you practice enough and be comfortable with these kind of operations because these are quite common with respect to data engineering applications as well as back-end development for mobile or web application using Python. So make sure you are comfortable with the concepts and also syntax and semantics to take care of problem statements which involve grouping the data by a particular key and get the aggregated results based on that key.